What's up, people? Peri here with another episode of Surviving Creatively, and of course we are here in our main world, the world in which we are building our castle, and I'm working on a whole bunch of things that is going to take quite some time to figure out, and I think I talked about it in the last episode, and that is that I've been trying to figure out where all the different connections to the rest of the palace are going to be. It's going to be a little bit interesting to try and figure out where a lot of these things will kind of originate from. The castle connects to a lot of different things. Yeah, I did talk about this last episode. I'm remembering now. But in trying to figure all that out, you don't get a lot of work done. So I've been tinkering around with this right here. This is something that you didn't see in the last episode, and it is a castle offshoot. It is for this outer perimeter area, and the idea is it's kind of like a base away from the base. It's a much larger castle, or part of the castle, than I thought it was going to be, especially when you're planning things in the small scale. You think, oh, it's not going to be that big, but when it actually came time to plan it, I was very surprised at just how large everything is, and just how much detail is going to have to go into this to make it not look so boring. So there's going to be a sort of a connection to this area, and I'm thinking, and this is like a huge space, massive space, and I think it'll be some sort of an entryway to probably this area, and it'll connect the this tower, of which I have no idea what a good name for this is. Satellite tower, maybe, I don't know, possibly. It'll connect itself over to this smaller castle, which is connected to the keep. This castle is meant to connect to the residence of the palace, of which I haven't built yet, but I have set up where I think a good connection area is going to be, where everything starts to line up. And in going through all this, I've realized that, you know what, it's going to take quite some time to do this. It's going to take quite a long time in doing these crenellations right here. This is not so bad when you're working in MC Edit, but for myself, it takes a little bit of time to get the design right and try and figure out what is a proper look for it, because I've been looking at the crenellations from afar, and it looks kind of messy and it looks kind of disjointed. And in the comments, I do read all your comments. Some people have expressed opinions of how they do not like the color of the crenellations, the fact that it's the sandstones, too much of a contrast in between, maybe. We're going to take a look at this maybe in just a little bit, but yeah, it's something that I'll take a look at, and if we find that there's a change to be made, we'll make it. But I was looking from afar, it looks kind of messy. In how it goes along, and it might benefit from a little bit of order, a little bit of structure. So maybe changing around the blocks might be a good idea. Maybe the colors might be something that we can work with, and we'll take a look at that in just a little bit. But I'm getting back to the satellite sort of tower or castle area. I wanted a proper design for it, and I wanted it to be a little bit different from what you're seeing over there in the background. The keep itself is very symmetrical. It's something that is very easy to make. For this castle, I am thinking about possibly getting an intricate design, and you can see it right there. This kind of slope down, like so. And there's a purpose behind it. One is that there is this upper part of the castle, and if you don't know, if you can't follow along, this area where I'm standing right now is sort of where archers or people that are defending the castle would stand in order to, well, defend the castle. And so I wanted to make an opening down here, because there's going to be another what would you call this area? This balcony area that you would stand on in order to defend the castle, of course. And then there's going to have to be some sort of opening in this area. Something like that. Just a rough opening. And that's for people to run in and out. A nice connection area to go back and forth between here and then this outer tower, which is going to look pretty cool. It's a nice focal point, I think, especially when you're looking from this angle. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's going to be a nice focal point, nice place. It's always good when you're building or planning things, kind of step back here, take a look at what you're building and think about it in taking a picture of it. What would make for a good picture? And for myself standing here, I would think that this would be a good shot because you have this tower over in the background there, this tower over here, and then you have a nice focal point in this area. So that's a good place to put in a lot of detail. And so we're probably going to concentrate on something like that in a later episode. But this one, the design, I think we are kind of finishing up on. And so we got the entryway over here. And then I wanted to match up the other side with this castle. So you can see I'm running pretty much parallel to this castle, lining up the balconies here, and also along the top. I'm lining up this balcony with this one over here. So in doing that, you kind of get an offset for the different towers. And in order to connect them, I decided to go with a nice little slope right here. Adds a little bit of detail, adds some uniqueness to it, I hope. As we go along, and we might find that it might not work, we'll maybe add in another type of detail, maybe change the shape. But it's all part of the planning process, trying to figure out what looks good, what doesn't look good. And right now, I've been clearing away a lot of the stone here. And because I'm envisioning that with the balcony, we're going to be heading up in this direction. A lot of people need to get back and forth, and a lot of people need to be in position somewhere around here in order to defend the castle properly. So in trying to clear all the stone out, you're just kind of picking away at it. And I think we might have to do a little bit of terraforming in this area just to clear away a nice space for people to get through. All right, and then there's a nice little topper here. I wanted to extend the tower up just a little bit more, give it a bit more height. And that red cross is going to go at some point. That's just something that I've used to mark off all the different peaks that I want to use in the world. And so, yeah, that's what I've been up to. A lot of designs and things that have been going on in my head I've been trying to kind of rationalize with, so it's not so much progress right now. And truth be told, a lot of the planning stages can get kind of boring, especially if I'm trying to shoot a video. It's not something that you guys need to watch, but I did want to kind of go along and tell you about the design process and what is going on in my head. Hopefully that provides you with a little bit of inspiration. So I wanted to address that comment. I forgot who said it exactly, but I'll leave it up to my editing skills to put that in there. I'm thinking that we'll go off into the planning world and we'll talk a little bit about these crenellations. All right, so we are here in our planning world, and here's the model right here of the entire build. And if you would like to download it, there's a link down in the description. You can take a look at it, meander around it, do anything to it really, just make it your own if you want. But what we're going to do is we're going to try and figure out these crenellations. Now, I heard in the comments that some of you weren't a big fan of it. And to be honest, I was kind of on the fence, and I decided to keep it just because it wasn't really a big deal to me. And in the future, if I decided to play around with it, it's not that big a deal. I can MC edit all this stuff in. But we got the smooth sandstone and then the regular sandstone. Those are really contrasting colors, in my opinion, with the castle, and I did want to go with something like that just to keep things nice and different. However, some of you are not very keen on that idea, but we'll take a look at what we have in terms of blocks. And in going through it, I was thinking maybe we'll go full on dark, and that might be an option. So we got a coal block. Here we have blackened stained clay. Also, there was one other block that I was looking at that might be a good idea. I think it was obsidian, wherever that is. There it is, obsidian. So and I want to keep the ribbing here, these little things, a different block from this. It gives it a nice little bit of order, especially when we're trying to figure out what will look good, and it's easier for me to MC edit with. So I'm going to just put down a few blocks here, kind of do a bit of a mock-up, something like that. So I'm going to put the coal blocks on the outside to kind of signify the ribbing of the crenellations, and then we'll fill it in with obsidian. So that's kind of an idea. Might not work for this, but we'll take this design and we'll impose it onto here, see how it comes out. Then we have another castle, and I was thinking about maybe going more along the lines of what the castle looks like, so the colors will blend in a little bit more, but I think we have some room to kind of play around and possibly come up with something that can stand out just a little bit. Maybe not as much as the sandstone, but just enough that we can kind of say that it's different in nature. So we have the stone slabs, which are part of the exterior of the wall on the keep there. So we'll put some of those down. We'll keep these as the ribbings. Let's see if I got that right. Oh, yes I did. Something like that. And I do appreciate all your lovely comments, of course. Keep them coming, positive or negative. You know, sometimes I don't really listen to negative comments, but, you know, I was kind of on the fence about this anyway, so it's a good opportunity for us to actually take a look at the design. So this is another idea. It's all grays here, and so incorporating the grays into there will kind of give it let me think about the words that I'm looking for here. Try to incorporate itself into the build a little bit better. It won't be so contrast-like. And I think this could be a possible idea. And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to go away for a little bit and go into MC Edit, try and take a look at what I can do. And when we come back, I'll have this on that wall and then our other mock-up down there on this one. And a little MC Edit editing later. Here we go. So we have our two options I've laid out here. There could be more, but I felt that these were the best ones. But if you know of anything that would go well in this scenario, be sure to leave me a comment down below. But we have our andesite, that's what this block is, our polished andesite right here with our stone slabs. Now the stone slabs kind of incorporate themselves into this design, so it ties them together quite nicely. And then the andesite is something that is different from the rest of the blocks, so it adds a little bit of a difference between everything. It works quite well, but it does have that kind of dull look. It's not as contrast like as I would like it, and again, pushing the design boundaries can be a little bit difficult sometimes. And then over here we have what is very contrast like between these two. You have the lightness of the bricks followed by this right here, which is the coal and the obsidian, and it's not my favorite. Let's put it that way. It looks like a giant big rug of hair on top. Yeah, not my favorite, but if you guys like it, be sure to let me know. Let me know what you guys think. And we have one more option in the back, and as I was making this one, I noticed that maybe the sandstone can be saved and we can keep it here. I changed the ribbing into stone bricks, and then the filler in between into the chiseled, no, not the chiseled, the smooth sandstone. And maybe that might be enough to kind of sway opinion here or there. I don't know. It's up to you guys, but we're going to have to leave it here for this episode. I thank you so much for watching and commenting and letting me know what you guys think of this whole world. And together, I think we'll be able to come up with something pretty cool, pretty grand for this area, of course. But like I said, that's going to be it for this episode. Don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps me out. I really appreciate every like that you give me, and the comments, of course. I read all of them, and I do intend to reply to them. I'm trying to get better about replying to comments. So if you do comment, expect a reply. Hopefully. And, I thank you guys so much for watching. Always remember, keep your head up, and I will see you in the next one.